Are we live?
And we're live. Jim, we can get started now.
Good afternoon to all those in Australia. Namaste, namaskaram to all of those in India. My name is Jim Verghese. I'm the National Chair of the Australia-India Business Council. And in accordance with our practice here in Australia, I'd like to do a welcome to country and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we've gathered on today in every part of our nation here in Australia. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, the culture and the hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across our nation here in Australia. Now, today is a really historic day in launching our sports industry chapter in such a great title of Kicking Bilateral and Business Goals, the future of Australia and India's sporting relationship. The Australia-India Business Council was established in 1986 to foster bilateral relations between our two countries. We're the only premier non-profit organisation with a mission to promote trade dialogue between India and Australia through nurturing and maintaining close relationships in both Australia and India with federal and state government agencies, the diplomatic corporations and industry bodies. I note from the registrations here today that Neville Roach, the Emeritus Chair of AIBC is here. So Neville, it's good in 1986 when you got it going. Here we are today in 2021. The AIBC is a national membership organisation with very active chapters in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Canberra. We're also looking to establish one in the Northern Territory. And we maintain close relationships with the federal and state government across the board and showcase opportunities to the Australian business community through an active program of events, particularly digital events like this one. In order to meet the emerging industry needs, we have also introduced innovative restructuring and introduced industry chapter chairs so that we can focus very quickly on the emerging bilateral trade opportunities. So we have the agribusiness chapter, the corporate chapter, the digital chapter, the education and skills chapter, the financial services chapter, healthcare chapter, Make in India chapter, renewable energy chapter, SME startups and innovation, women in business, and Shiva Nandiakala, who is also registered today, has been the innovator in women in business, and welcome to you too, Shiva. We have young business leaders, and of course, our inaugural sports chapter today with Preeti Daga. Can I also add that we've also introduced the AIBC Digital Exchange Forum, which positions us as an innovative digital engagement enabler for all our members and to facilitate bilateral trade and business leads and opportunities. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say we want to use this not just for our members, but also for our partners and deepen our engagement with our partners like FICCI, the Federation of India's Chambers of Commerce and Industry, CWI, the Chambers of Industry in India, Invest India, and the Australia-India Chamber of Commerce, the Business Council of Australia, the Export Council of Australia, and others who have joining us in this great partnership. So without further ado, let me hand over to Preeti Daga, our inaugural chair for the sports industry chapter. Over to you, Preeti, and you can see her profile is on the screen for you. Preeti, over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Namaste and good afternoon to everyone in Australia and a very good morning to those tuning in from India. Thank you for joining us at the virtual launch of AIBC's National Sports Chapter. It is my great pleasure to welcome all our distinguished speakers, members and friends of AIBC for tuning in from all around the world to this inaugural sports webinar. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Senator the Honourable Richard Colbeck, Minister for Sport in Australia, Ambassador Anil Vadva, Lead for CIR's Task Force for the Australian Economic Strategy Report, Nick Hockley, Interim CEO for Cricket Australia, Brenton Humphreys, Chief Strategy Officer for the Essendon Football Club, and our sponsor, Dharmendra Patel from the Aussies Group. Welcome, gentlemen, and it has been a pleasure to work with some of you over the last many years. We are, of course, missing former Australian cricketer Melanie Jones, who could not join us today due to some personal matters, but we hope to have her back at the next event. Let me begin by saying how enthralling was the recent cricket test series. I'm sure all of you are giving me a thumbs up right now.